Hello everyone! In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can draw a head from the front view following a step-by-step process. And almost always we're going to start with a circle, but please don't worry about that, don't panic. You can always go for your old reliable, maybe grabbing one of these and trying to use it to create a circle if you feel that's something that is keeping you from advancing on the next steps. But I really recommend you just trying your best and we'll work with that. I'm going to be using this color pen because I want to start making really light lines, and then don't worry, I'm going to be adding some darker lines so you can see even more clearly what I'm drawing. And without further ado, let's going to start. Again, we're going to be drawing first a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, just try your best. And after that, right away, I'll be adding a center line. After you establish these first two steps, now I'll be drawing two horizontal lines inside of the circle to indicate where I want the eyes to be. And inside of this, I'll be drawing something like these shapes to indicate the type of eye shape I want to draw for my character. I think I'm going to make a dedicated video for this because I think depending on the type of shape you draw, you can get different results, and I think that would be a very fun exercise to see all the variations we can create for our characters. After that, we can add a nose, and I'm going to keep it inside of the circle. I can also show you later or in another video how would that look if I took it outside from the circle. I don't think that's a wrong practice necessarily, but if you're going to draw your everyday characters, I would recommend if you keep the nose inside of the circle, unless you're doing like a cartoon, but a caricature like these very exaggerated faces some portrait artists do. But most of the time, it's better if you keep the nose inside of the circle. So since I'm inspired by one of my OCs, I'm going to draw a big nose because he has a big nose, but it's very cute. And now I'm going to introduce another big shape that's going to make really that other, I think, 60% of our drawing, and it's just a triangle. And for that, first we can measure the distance, or maybe we can add first the mouth so we can see more clearly how large we want the mandible and the jawline to be apart from the face. So let me draw very quickly the mouth, and now I can see that I think right here could be a good place to draw the chin. And you want to take this point, create a line from this point and connect it to your circle. And that's what I'm going to do to create that shape. And if we break down this structure we are building, what we have is basically this, a circle with a center line, and we attach the triangle. You can imagine this as if this was like an ice cream cone and a huge ice cream ball. And after we have that, now we can complete our template by drawing in what it would be the jawline or the mandible. And for that, now we want to draw another triangle, but this time instead of being like this one right here, that is an inverted triangle, we want to create this type of shape. That's also a triangle that will be attached to each side of our main triangle. Let me show you in case you find that a bit confusing. So I'll be drawing something like this. Maybe make it more round because I did it a bit too pointy. And let me add for you the ears so the picture looks more complete. And with this, now we have our base and we can start adding more darker lines so we can see more easily what we have to work with. I almost always start with the eyes, and let's add more darker lines here. Maybe even add the eyes. And really big ears. Oh, I forgot to mention, but if you want to also take this head to the next level, we can add some of the planes we see on the 𝗥𝗲𝗆𝗆 model. This is an app. I can put in the description the name if you want to check it out. I think this one is free. You also have these other two versions for the model, the 𝗥𝗲𝗆 head model, and these are, one is more simplified, one has more detail, but you can pick the one that feels that is more attuned or aligned with the character you're drawing. And for this particular character, I don't want it to have so many planes, but having this model is a great tool and resource we can use to add even more dimensionality to the head we are drawing. And I think that's very important, even if we are drawing a character that's stylized or a character that's mainly inspired by anime art, because you still want to know which is the front view, the side view of the character, which planes you are working on, especially if you want to shade your character. I can create a video about that in the future because I think that's really helpful, especially again when we are coloring our character, even if it's anime character. So for this head, the front view, I'm going to draw in what it would be the temples and the area of the eyes. And for that, let's start with this color. This area of the eyes right here, some people see it as a mask. You can think of Mr. Incredible or Robin from Teen Titans. They use something like this. And we divide that in two because it's important to know that, as you can see here, these are two different planes. What this is showing us is that this area is elevated and this one is like tucked inside of the head. You can imagine, for example, that you have a sphere and spheres are rounded, right? They have dimension, they're not just flat. We can even add something like this, as if we were constructing a Lumi's head. And since spheres are rounded, if we were to take a piece of this sphere, that would be something like this. If we took out this piece from the sphere, we would get something like a Pac-Man, you know, where it is this area is missing, so we have this very same form we see. Of course, this is very simplified, but that's the main idea, that you take a piece of the sphere and that creates an indentation in the head. And so that's I think a good way to visualize that area. And I'm going to draw it so we know this part is right here, and we can add the area of the cheeks. And with that, we now have our head. Let me add some color for the eyes. Now I'm going to draw another one so you can see how you can modify some of the shapes and the lines I drew for the first one to create an entirely different head. And again, we draw a circle. This time I'm going to be faster. Instead of drawing a very small chin, I'm going to try and make it a bit wider so you see the difference. Like so. We have chin. This area right here. I'm going to keep the nose inside of a circle, adding the indications for the ears, and let's draw a mouth. Now I'm going to add more definition to the drawing. So maybe even adding the eyelids. I think most of the time I do the ears a bit bigger because I'm very inspired by this character from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. He's even here in my desk. He's Tontin. I think in the English version he's called Dopey, but I've always watched the version for Latin America, and I just love this character. His scenes are hilarious and he's very charming, and he's just one of my favorite, alongside Grumpy, of course. And to finish this, let's add the temples, the tip right here for the area where the eyes are placed. And we have our head. Let's add, I think I have another color here. Maybe this one. Let's see how that looks. And again, you can use tools like this, like the Azure head, to understand the planes of the head, to start thinking about the head as a three-dimensional object, and to guide you. This is my go-to cheat sheet to study when I really need to understand these planes. And again, you can try different shapes to create different characters. Maybe I'll draw another one for you so we can have three versions. Let's see if we can come up with another different character, an entirely different one. And again, we start with a circle, then we add the center line, we add guidelines. Let's draw the triangle. Maybe this is going to be very alike to first one, but let's see what we can create. And maybe changing the shape of the eyes, something like this. Nose. Let's see how this turned out. Let's add definition to our nose. Maybe make it smiling. Maybe making their cheekbones a bit more pronounced, so he looks different than the first one I drew, because their features are still very thin. Let's draw in the temples and this area for the eyes. And please keep in mind that these drawings are not meant to be perfect. These are just exercises we do to remember, to have like a strategy to draw the head from the front view. And if you want to, basically this is what we are doing, following this step. If you're interested in having this as a reference sheet, I'm going to be adding a resource in my description box so you can download it and have it. I'm going to try and make it one page so it's really easy to use and study. And also I think I'll be including all of my failed attempts, because I think it's important for you to see that we can even make mistakes along the way, but that's completely okay. That's not the end of the world. And the good thing about drawing in paper is that we take that pressure from ourselves to make perfect art and just try to, again, understand these concepts and have fun. Even I strongly recommend you to just, if you're going to make this, don't spend like egregious amount of time doing them, just 20 minutes or 15 minutes to make the session short and fun. Maybe you can tune to a podcast or an audiobook you really want to hear. If you want recommendations from me, I have so many, because I really like to hear ghost stories and gothic stories and all of that. So my final takeaway is that have fun. Don't feel so stressed out if the first drawings are not turning great. Just keep going and try to make the session again fun, so you are more likely to come back and to keep practicing And again, I'll leave a resource in my description box that you can download. It's just something I'll put together so you can study and again, maybe get inspired to create your own characters and start studying these things. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. And I hope to see you on the next one. We are going to be drawing the head from two other basic angles, the 3/4 view and the side view. I wanted to include that in this video, but I felt it was a bit too much. It was going to be too long, and I really wanted to take my time to explain this to make it as beginner friendly as possible. So thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.